Hey guys! I don't know if anybody's watching, but if you're watching and it's glitchy again, just let me know, because I did this 2 days ago and it was really, it wasn't glitchy when I, was actually filming, but then when I saw the video after, it was, glitching, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, my internet seems fine, there's not any problems with that, so I don't know what's going on, but, yeah, if you see anything glitchy, just let me know. I'm gonna try again on reading Exodus 14 and 15. And then, yeah, I don't know. That might be all we do today, but we'll see. I still have to... I got other stuff to work on too, because I still gotta work on my animation for my YouTube as well, because I want to start getting those things done. Yeah. Thank you, Haas00312 Elite Race for, following 5 minutes ago. Sorry if I missed you. And I'm really excited to be back on here, and I'm excited to just start new right now and just do what I need to do. And I really want to try to make this an everyday thing as possible, because I like this. I like doing this, and I'm hoping I can make this a job, but yeah. So I'm gonna try to do this more, and I might start doing more like gaming streams and stuff, because I really need to start thinking about my future. And yeah, so if anybody has any tips or hints or any of that to being an online presence, oh sorry, that was not great, being an online presence, and being a mom, and trying to, you know, support 2 kids, that would be awesome. Because I know, well, I don't know what it's like to be a single mom, but I will soon. So, any other single moms out there who have done this and do make a living off of it, or have other online stuff they can make work for them, I will take any suggestions right now. I'm trying my best, but I definitely am someone who has to work from home because of my health issues, so sorry I'm saying so much today. Yeah, I don't want to get too into things right now, but I just want, you know, people to know that I'm back, and I'm trying to stay as healthy as possible and be calm. Not let life get to me too much right now. So I'm gonna start reading. I'm gonna do 14 and 15 again in Exodus, and I am hoping this doesn't glitch out again. Sorry, excuse me. I just ate lunch, so yes, so we will do those 2 readings, and then I will probably be back on Monday to do the next chapters. I have to look at my reading list, because I kind of got off of it because things were happening in my life, but yeah, I'll have to go back and check all of those reading lists and see where we're going to be at after chapter 15, and I will get back on hopefully a regular schedule these next few weeks as things start to get into more of a routine, and I'm used to, you know, being on here a lot more, and, you know, having my kids at school all day. It's been weird because we've all been stuck in the house for the last year together. You know, they were online last year, so really getting into real school with both of them gone is weird, because before this it wasn't both of them, it was just one of them, and then the other one was going half-time for a while. So yeah, it's a whole new world for me. I get a whole new time for myself, time to do house stuff, and time to hopefully do more of this online stuff while they're in school, since they're both in school now. And yeah, and I'm kind of enjoying having my own time right now, so that's nice. So we're gonna get into Exodus 14 and 15. I did this, like I said, 2 days ago, but it was glitchy, so we're gonna read it again. And then probably gonna go work on my animation for my YouTube. Also, if you have not looked at my YouTube channel, I'm a atheist YouTuber. I do animations on why I walked away from the church and why I'm no longer a believer, and just things that I've learned along the way. And I've done one video review, I think. It was a Lee Strobel video review. And then I've done a couple live streams with people. I did a live stream with like 4 other girls about purity culture and just how damaging it is from different, they were all from different religious backgrounds, and I thought that was a really good thing. So if you really enjoy like the Bible reading here, you can go to my YouTube channel. It's Overprotected Atheist on YouTube, and just follow that channel as well. And most of it's animation. I've done a few live streams, but I really like doing the animations, so I hope you enjoy them. And shout out to Holy Kool-Aid, who inspired me to do that. So alright, Exodus 14. Alright, so we're at the if you did watch the video the other day, sorry that it was glitchy, but basically the reading is about them crossing the Red Sea and the Egyptians coming after them. So we're going to read about that. And then in 15 they talk about it's kind of like a song that they sing about God being their protector and their provider, and like taking the Egyptians out. So yeah, we're going to read those two. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Pi-Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea. They are to encamp by the sea, directly opposed to Baal-zephon. Pharaoh will think the Israelites are wandering around the land in confusion, hemmed in by the desert. I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord." So the Israelites did this. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them and said, "What have we done? We have let the Israelites go and have lost their services." So he had his chariots made ready and took the army with him. He took 600 of the best chariots, along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he would pursue the Israelites, who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians, all of Pharaoh's horses and chariots, horsemen and troops, pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they camped by the sea near Pi-Hahiroth, oppose Baal-zephon. It is interesting that it says it takes, like, I feel like there weren't that many people. I mean, I know this is a story, but to have your entire fleet of chariots and everyone in your army go after this small group of people because you want them back just seems like overkill to me. Like, at what point is it... Like, I don't think you would need that many people to go after. But, I guess it kind of plays into the whole, you know, God is better than the Egyptians, so they have to use everything they have to fight him, and they still can't win. It's about showing their power versus God's power. Which makes sense, because that's a big theme throughout the Bible that I've seen, is that it always comes back to God and just how narcissistic he is, and how everything has to be about him and his glory, and how everything he does is for himself. And if he's not being glorified in everything people do, then I don't know. He throws a tantrum and gets angry and, kills people. So, yeah, it's very much the our God versus your God, which is better. And I guess I just don't understand that mentality. So, even though that's like a huge theme. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone. Don't let us serve the Egyptians'? Oh, leave us alone. Let us serve the Egyptians. It would be better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord that he will bring to you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again." Hi, Haas00312. Thanks for following. Awesome. We're reading Exodus 14 and 15 if you want to read along. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water, so that the Israelites can go to the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, so they will go in after them, and I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen." Then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army... Hey. Thank you, Haas00312. Withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel. Throughout the night the cloud brought darkness to the one side and light to the other side, so neither went near them all night long. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind. And he turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. It is very interesting to me. What would it actually look like to, walk through a sea? Because, I know it's a sea. So I don't know what kind of actual, aquatic life would be in there or whatever. If these stories had actually happened, I always wondered, what they actually saw. And was it the Prince of Egypt where they showed that? Where there were, whales and fish and stuff on the sides? I always thought that was a really cool part. If it's not that movie, it's another one. I mean, being raised Christian, I saw a lot of Christian movies depicting the Jews escaping the Egyptians, but it was always interesting to me in whatever movie that was, the scene where it was all the animals and they could see it, and the water wall. I always thought that was pretty cool. Even if these stories aren't true, just thinking about things like that is it makes a cool effect for movies and stuff, I think. I mean, the rest of the story is maybe not all that great, but that part I really liked. The Egyptians pursued them, and all the Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion. He jammed the wheels of their chariots so they had difficulty driving. After the Egyptians say, "Let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses stretched his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing towards it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water followed back and covered the chariots and horsemen. The entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea, not one of them survived. But the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. That day the Lord had saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. When the Israelites saw the great power the Lord had displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord, and they put their trust in him and in Moses their servant. 15. So this is the song of Moses and Miriam. And last time we read this, this is very much like God is awesome, but it's also like he's awesome because he murdered our enemies. So it's very, I don't know, it's just the glorification of death. That is another big theme in the Bible. It's just God is glorified through the death of his enemies. And I think that's a very like warrioristic, is that a word? Way to look at things. Like back in the day when people were warriors and they had to fight for whatever they needed, supplies or women or who knows. Just when things were more savage and people were more not able, but they didn't have the same moral standards, so attacking other villages and stuff to get what they needed didn't seem wrong to them. Even though, like, in our day, that would be seen as not okay. Alright. Exodus 15. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord. I will sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. Both horse and driver he has hurled into the sea. The Lord is my strength and my defense. He has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will praise him. My father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his army he's hurled into the sea. The best of Pharaoh's officers are drowned in the Red Sea. The deep waters have covered them. They sank the depths like a stone. Your right hand, Lord, was majestic in power. Your right hand, Lord, shattered the enemy. In the greatness of your majesty, you threw down those who opposed you. You unleashed your burning anger. It consumed them like stubble. By the blast of your nostrils, the waters piled up. The surging waters stood up like a wall. The deep waters congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy boasted, I will pursue, I will overtake them. I will divide the spoils, I will gorge myself on them. I will draw my sword, and my hand will destroy them. But you blew with your breath, and the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who among the gods is like you, Lord? Who is like majestic in holiness, awesome in glory, working wonders? You stretched out your right hand, and the earth swallowed your enemies. In your unfailing love you will lead the people that you have redeemed. In your strength you will guide them to your holy dwelling. The nations will hear and tremble. Anguish will grip the people of Philistia, and the chiefs of Edom will be terrified. The leaders of Moab will be seized with trembling. The people of Canaan will melt away. Terror and dread will fall on them. By the power of your arm, they will be as still as stone, until your people pass by, Lord. Until the people you brought pass by. You will bring them in and plant them on the mountain of your inheritance, the place, Lord, you have made your dwelling, the sanctuary, Lord, your hands established. The Lord reigns forever and ever. When Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and horsemen went into the sea, the Lord brought the waters of the sea back to them, but the Israelites walked through the sea on dry land. Then Miriam, the prophet, Aaron's sister, took a timbrel in her hand, and the women followed her with timbrels and dancing. Miriam sang to them, "Sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. Both horse and driver he has hurled into the sea." Then Moses led Israel from the Red Sea, and they went into the desert of Shur. For 3 days they traveled in the desert without finding water. When they came to Marah, they came not to drink its water, because it was bitter. This is why they call the place Marah. So the people grumbled against Moses, saying, "What are we to drink?" Then Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. He threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. There the Lord issued a ruling and instruction for them, and put them to the test. He said, "If you listen carefully to the Lord your God, and do what is right in his eyes, if you pay attention to his commands, and keep all his decrees, I will not bring on you any of the diseases that I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you." Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs and 70 palm trees, and they camped there near the water. I know yesterday I talked about how weird it was that he threw the whole idea that God can do anything. So Moses throwing the wood into the water was not about. It wasn't about. It was about God's power. It wasn't about it was about obedience, and that's what this is all about. Is if you obey my decrees, then I won't kill you. Or make you suffer. And that is one thing that I really struggle with the Bible, is that a lot of it is about, if you don't be completely obedient to me, then I'm going to hurt you. And that is a very abusive way to look at anything in the world. But if anyone comes into your house and they say they're your friend, and yet they treat you like that, where it's well, you have to do everything I say or I'm gonna hurt you, that's not friendship, and that's not love, and that's not a healthy relationship at all. And I think that is a huge part of why I left the church, because the God of the Bible is not this loving, all benevolent. I can't talk. You know what I mean. Yeah, he's not what I was presented in church, where he was this all-loving God and he loves you no matter what. And if you run away from him, it's because you don't want to follow him, obey him, you know. And why wouldn't you want to obey God? Because he's all-loving and all-powerful. But looking at it through a critical lens and really seeing what this God is saying and the abusive nature that's behind it is terrifying. And that's a huge reason why growing up in church, like, I never understood why they said, you know, fear God. Because I was like, well, if God's all loving, why would I fear him? And I look back now and I realize that's because it's not a healthy, loving relationship. It's very much driven by this need to be, the one in control. He's the one who has to have the control. He's the one who has to tell you what to do. He's the one who has to have demands from you, and you have to be 100% obedient to him. And if you're not, then there are going to be consequences. And that's not a healthy relationship for anyone. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's just a commitment to one another. You would not stay with someone who would do that to you, would demand complete and utter obedience, or they would hurt you. And that's a really just horrible way for anyone to grow up. And I think for me, it has definitely caused problems in my life. Because I realized I lived in such terror and such fear for so long because I never understood why this loving God would hurt anyone. But for me growing up, I never felt like I met the expectations of this God. Even though, you know, I was told in church, like, he forgives you if you just ask for forgiveness and you believe. But for me, no matter how much I believed, and no matter how many times I asked for forgiveness, I never felt like this God actually did care about me. And that it was more about, I don't even know, like, not controlling me. Because I didn't feel like, when I was in the church, I didn't feel like he was trying to control me. Well, obviously, I don't believe he's a real entity now. But back then, when I actually thought that God existed, it was very much, I didn't meet what I thought were the expectations of, hi Haas, were the expectations of this God. That no matter what I did and who I thanks for following. No matter what I did, and no matter how many times I asked for forgiveness, it was never going to be enough for him. And that I had to, I don't know, somehow be something that I wasn't. So I think for me, that just plays a big role in why I left the church and why I can't follow Christianity anymore. And especially now, having 2 kids and, like, understanding how much that tormented me as a child. Like, I can't put them through that. And I don't want to put them through that because it breaks my heart that I went through that as a child. And it breaks my heart that anyone's child has have to gone through that. And, you know, talking to my friends who have left the church and, just understanding where they're coming from really helps me see too that I wasn't the only one who was thinking something was wrong, and that as a child I shouldn't be in such panic mode all the time and such just being able to, live my life without fearing a wrath that would come upon me one day. And, that is a huge thing that I dealt with. And I think that is, I think it's helpful for people who get out of the church. They need to have that space to realize that, I don't have to follow this religion just because I was raised in it, and I don't have to believe in it without evidence, and I don't have to think that there's this being in the sky who can destroy me at any minute because I'm not following what they perceive as obedience. And that has made me a healthier person, especially with my mental health, because I have terrible anxiety and panic attacks because of the way I was raised, and because I couldn't go anywhere without fearing that these invisible things were out to get me. And that's terrifying for a child. I couldn't even be at home by myself without fearing that any second, I could be attacked by a demon. Or I know now it sounds ridiculous saying it, I'm in my 30s now, and just looking back and going, how in the world can anyone do that to a child and think it's okay, and not see how damaging it is, and how hurtful it is, and how it just, yeah, it's scary, and it makes you fear everything. And I don't know, it's a hard thing to deal with. And I think for me, leaving the church really helped with my mental health on that, because those panic attacks and that anxiety is not as bad now, because I can look at it and go, this is a book written by people. This is a book that is mostly fiction, and a lot of this stuff doesn't exist in our world. And this is just what people made up in their minds, or I don't know, saw when they were doing drugs or something. But in a time when there wasn't science that could show us these are the reasons that these things are happening in people's minds, how many of those people in the Bible had mental illnesses? I mean, people could have had schizophrenia or epilepsy, and they would yeah. Yeah, it's scary to think that people are told this. I mean, it would be one thing if it was an adult who, actually thought these things through, and if they want to believe it, that's fine. But I have such a problem with being raised in it, and it just completely controlling my life, because I was raised Pentecostal, and they are very into demons are real, Satan's real, witchcraft is real, people are there are Satanists out there who, kill babies on Halloween and kidnap kids to sacrifice to the devil and all that stuff. And it's just the constant fear that was in my mind as a kid was disgusting. And I can never do that to my kids. And I'm really glad that, you know, I found myself and I found a way to get out and realize that what I had been told wasn't true, and that I can work on my mental health. And I'm a better person for it now because, you know, I've gone to therapy and, you know, I'm on meds that keep those panic attacks and things down, and I've come to realize that a lot of things that I thought were true don't actually exist. So that has definitely helped. And if anyone's out there and you have some mental issues because of that growing up in the church, or if you're still in the church and you're struggling with things like that, like, I would definitely suggest that you go see a counselor and even a doctor, because they can prescribe you meds and they can counsel you through those things and help you just see reality for how it is and help you talk you down from, you know, when you have those panic attacks and stuff. And I know I'm human, and, like, I think those are things that are always going to be part of my life, is just that anxiety, but there are ways to make it better. And mine's, like, I still have it, but I'm finding ways to be healthy with it. So, but yeah, thank you all for showing up and reading along with me. Hopefully this one wasn't as glitchy as the last one. I don't know what happened on the last video, but I hope this one is a lot smoother and nicer and people could actually hear me and it wasn't just as glitchy. If this one's glitchy, I might have to figure out a new setup or something. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's Twitch or if it's my computer. Thank you. I am so glad to be back. My summer was crazy. Just crazy. And I'm going through a lot personally right now, so yeah. I'm in a mess, but I'm pushing through the mess of my life right now and trying to get back on here and back on YouTube and just doing my thing. And, you know, I'm really hoping that not only to, like, connect with people on here and on my Twitch and, or on my YouTube and on my Twitter, but, you know, hopefully, possibly making this a career choice, but I don't know at this point. But, since I'm going to be a single mom in the future, I need to figure something out that's gonna help me and my kids live on our own. So if anybody has any suggestions, I am still gonna do this on YouTube and try my best to just get my content out there. But yeah, just a slow process of figuring out what I need to do and what's gonna work for me and my family. But I am super glad to be back. I love doing this, and I love being able to talk to people, and I love being able to not only get my thoughts out there, but, you know, to hear other people's thoughts and talk to other people. And that's, you know, when I first started doing YouTube and stuff, I didn't even think about, you know, the whole community aspect of it. It was very much like, well, I want to create, so I'm going to start creating and just see what happens. And the things that YouTubers and Twitch people don't tell you is, like, you meet so many people like yourself that you didn't even know were out there. And, like, you can spend hours talking to people all over the world about, you know, them leaving the church and how it's changed them, and just to hear other people's stories and know that none of us are alone in this. There are so many people that have walked away from so many different religions and, you know, put themselves into the non-belief or atheist or anti-theist or whatever you want to call yourself. And yeah, there's just a whole community there that you didn't realize was there. And for me, it was like I didn't realize I needed it because I was like, I had watched those people. I was online watching like Holy Kool-Aid and, Hannah and Jake and, all those people. Yeah. And AXP and all those things, and just watching other people talk about where they're at and how, they came out of the church and how, they want to be an activist and help other people. And that's kind of my main thing here, is that I want to be someone that helps other people who have come out of this and help them see that, like, you're not the only person who's left the church. You're not the only woman who's left the church. You're not the only mom who's left the church. Like, and, I want to be that voice for those people and spend time with those people and talk to those people and just let them know that, I'm on here to be there for those people. And I'm on here to, help other people realize that we can all be a community, even when, there's a pandemic going on and we don't get to always see everyone around us all the time. And I think for a lot of people who, your family's still in the church and your friends are all still in the church and you feel like there's no one else out there for you, this online community really helps. And I'm really glad to be a part of it, and I'm really glad to do what I can to help other people. And, and I like to create. So being able to get on and, talk on here or even on my YouTube and just create videos, like, it makes me happy because I'm a creative person. And I think for a long time, because I had no direction in life, I struggled with what I, wanted to do. And I realize now, like, I'm very much an artistic person and I very much like to create things. And, we live in a world now where you can do that. You can be an artistic person and you can show your creativity and, actually love what you do. And that's what makes me excited and happy. And I think that's a big part of this too, is just I get to be me and I get to do something I love. And this is hopefully something that I can continue doing in the future. And yeah, and just be more in the community and grow along other people from all over the world. And yeah, so I'm very thankful for all of it. And yeah, and for all of you out there who have supported me and been there when I needed it the most, and even just watching my videos or just chatting with me, I have very much appreciated you guys in a way I never thought I ever would. Because, I didn't realize all the stuff that comes with this, but this has been an amazing experience, and I am grateful that I have the tools to do it, and I'm grateful that I have people who are willing to, take time to watch my videos and take time to talk to me on Twitter. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be here without, people who want to actually watch these things and really discuss things and get into dialogue. So I'm definitely grateful for that too. Yeah. So thank you all for coming today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can share it with your friends, tell people about Overprotected Atheist, and I will hopefully be back on Monday. I really need to get like a schedule, but right now everything's just crazy. So once I get a good schedule down for like when I can actually do stuff and it's best for people, best for me, like, but for right now, I'm hoping Monday through Friday, anytime between 8 and 2. So I know that's like a full day, but yeah, I don't know. I think the lunch hour kind of works too, so sorry. Thank y'all for coming. I am gonna go work on my animation now, because I told everyone that I would have an animation out this week for YouTube, and I need to work on it. So thank you all. I know I said that a billion times, but have a wonderful day, and hopefully I see you all on Monday. And if I go on sooner, I will let you all know on Twitter. If you don't know my Twitter, it's OP_atheist. I also have an Instagram, Overprotected Atheist on Instagram. Oh, they're all below. But there you go. And Facebook, Overprotected Atheist on Facebook. And my YouTube. So feel free to find me on any of those if you want. And yeah, if you like it, you can subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Follow me here on Twitch. I want to build this community, and I hope that you guys do too. I will stop saying now, and I'm gonna go. Bye, friends.